Greetings students, welcome to this video lecture series on computer applications, lecture 6, chapter number 3, that is Introduction to HTML part 1. In this chapter we will start with HTML elements or the tags, followed by HTML structure, creating and saving a HTML document, viewing a HTML document on browser, followed by basic HTML tags such as HTML, head, title, font, body, font, base font, and others. Then we will have the style tags. Finally, we will finish the chapter with HTML lists. HTML tags or elements. HTML was developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1990. He is the founder of World Wide Web and he founded www in 1989. So hypertext in HTML refers to a piece of text that has some extra features like formatting, images, multimedia, and hyperlinks. Markup language is a way of writing layout information within the documents. We will get a better clarity on this in subsequent slides. A tag refers to a string that is enclosed within the angular brackets. In this case, it is HTML, which is enclosed within the angular brackets. HTML tags are predefined and not case sensitive. This is important part because in some programming languages, the HTML written in capitals over here is different from HTML written here in the lower case. So if it is not, if it is case sensitive, so one of these two, lowercase or the uppercase, is wrong and will result in coding error. So opening tag will have a corresponding closing tag. For this particular opening tag of HTML, there will be a corresponding closing tag. These dots over here represent the body of the document with other tags. The attributes are the characteristic of tags. Many of these tags will have attributes or the characteristics and are always specified in opening tags which provide additional information. For example, the font size. We have mentioned the font size equals to double quotes 5. So this will mention that the font size in that particular document will be of 5. Next comes the container and empty elements. So as the word itself suggests, container, so it is containing some sort of element details. For example, they always wrap around the text or the graphics. Text or the graphics. So it has both opening and closing tags in order to contain those text and graphics. So as we saw in the previous slide, HTML opening tag and then there is HTML closing tag where we have the forward slash after the opening angular bracket and then HTML and then the closing angular bracket. So these dots over here are basically what is enclosed between, what is contained between these tags. So that is why these are known as the container elements. And what is contained is generally the text or the graphic, title and the body part. So empty elements are again those elements which are standalone tags. Standalone tag means there is no corresponding closing tag for the opening tag. So no text needs to be wrapped around by these particular tags. So no closing tag required. For example, HR tag represents a horizontal line and DR tag represents a line break. So there is no corresponding closing tag for these two and they are enough as it is. HTML structure. So HTML document is a combination of various tags which define the structure and appearance of web page. But necessarily there will always be four elements that are always usually present in every HTML document. So these are the HTML tags, very first element that appears in the web page document. It tells the browser that it is a HTML document. We will get a better clarity on this in the next slide. And then after HTML, the second tag is always the header tag and corresponding closing tag of header. So these are container elements. So the title is contained between these two tags. So the header does not appear directly on the web page. Rather, it acts as header of the file and contains some information like setting the title of the web page. So this title is contained within the header. The title tag and the corresponding closing title tag will contain the specified title for the web page. So this title lies between the header tags, and the title of the web page is mentioned here between the title tags. The title will appear on the tab of the browser. Then is the body part and the body tag. The body tag and the corresponding closing body tag will enclose all the text, pictures, and other stuff that are usually meant to appear on a web page. It helps us to create look and feel of the web page. So this is one example of the structure of the HTML document. So this right here is the comment. So the comment is basically it is telling the browser that this particular line will not be shown in the browser. It is just a comment and not to be taken into consideration while displaying the web page. The real programming starts from here and ends over here. So this is the starting of the beginning of HTML document, the opening tag, and this is the closing tag as it is marked with the forward slash. So the header starts over here and ends over here. So the title is contained within the header. So you write the title here as mentioned for explanation purpose. You write the title over here and then close it with the closing tag of that title. Then comes the body part and opening tag over here. You display whatever you want to write in the web page. For example, the title is my pet. So you will write some lines about my pet over here in the body section, close the body tag, and then finally finish off by putting the closing tag of HTML. So this was a simple example of a structure. Okay, students, now we will see how to create a HTML document, saving it and also displaying it on the web browser. Right. So we always begin the HTML document by mentioning it in the HTML tag, which is angular brackets HTML, and then there is always a corresponding closing tag for HTML. In between these two tags, we will write all the necessary elements of the web page. So first element is always the header and followed by the corresponding closing tag of header forward slash. Between the header we have the title and then the closing tag for the title. The Title can be Hello Universe of HTML. Then we need to have a body tag for the content of web page. So this is a complete HTML document in itself, but we need to, as we can see, the name of this document is showing here as new text document.txt. Now we need to change this .txt extension. We will save it as hello HTML, hello dot HTML. So you see this .html extension is important. We will click save. Now when we click over here, we are able to find the hello.html document over here. For viewing this document in the browser, you simply need to click on this and you can see that here is the web page that we made. Okay, so this is the text part and this is the actual web page. So you see the title that we mentioned, my first web page, followed. Okay, this is different text. So you see, this is what we wrote. Hello Universe of HTML was the title and it is displayed here on the tab Hello Universe of HTML, and then the body part was Hello Universe. This is my first. Okay, so I did some mistake in the typing the first program of HTML. So it appears in the same manner over here. The same mistake will appear over here. That is not important. What is important is the body part is as it is. It is written, no auto correction. There is one more thing to notice over here. That is the file location. Instead of URL which we see generally www dot, that is not over there. Rather we see the uniform resource location of this particular web page is in C slash user slash the username slash the desktop. So this is the URL over here where the file is saved in this particular uh, computer. That is all. Now, basic HTML tags and their attributes. We saw in the previous examples, and we have a good clarity about what the HTML tag does. So, its basic function is just it acts as a container for all the HTML elements, which we saw in previous example, like the header, title, body, everything was contained between the HTML tag. So, it also tells the browser that it is dealing with the HTML document. We saw in the video that how the icon changed when we saved the text document into .html extension. The icon became that of the Chrome, telling us that this file is can be opened with the Chrome browser, and whatever your default browser is, it will change the icon into that particular icon. HTML tag marks the beginning and forward slash HTML is the closing tag. It marks the end of the web page. Attribute of the HTML. So attribute simply means some of the characteristics that can be associated with this particular opening tag. So if we write dir, it stands for the direction and tells the browser the direction in which the displayed text is read. Now, generally, even if we do not mention dir in the programming, it will always be LTR, that is left to right. But if we specifically want to mention something as right to left so that it is written from right to left, we can specifically mention it in this syntax. So this all is the syntax. This is the syntax by way of which we can mention that we specifically want the text to be read from right to left. L2AR means left to right and RTL means right to left. Then similarly we have the lang attribute in HTML opening tag. It tells the browser the language of an element content. So whatever is to be the web page, it basically tells the language of the web page. The content of web page is in which language. You can specifically mention that in for example in this case it is mentioned French. So then you have to write everything in French in the body part as well as the title part. So that way you can mention. So DE, if you want to mention DE, then it stands for German, IT stands for Italian, RU stands for Russian, etc. EN for English. So head tag and title tag. So the head tag must include the title of the web page, and we have already discussed this. The title includes script, style, meta information, and many more. So the second line in your HTML document is the header. So this head tag or the header tag is there as a second line. So head tag and title tag basically go like bread and butter, bread and jam. They go together. And the title tag defines the title for the web page. So the title must be a simple text. It is placed between the head extension. So we can say that the head tag contains the title tag, and title tag in return contains the title of the web page. So here is one example of very simple code where we have started the document with HTML and HTML tag and then header tag. So header tag is containing the title computer application by Riddhish. So then we close the title tag, close the header tag, and close the HTML. We save this file as .html extension as we saw in the video. We open it in the browser and we see that there is the title in the tab computer application by Riddhish as we mentioned over here. You can notice one thing, that there is no body element in this particular example, hence there is nothing to be displayed in the web page itself. Then comes the body tag. So this tag defines the document's body. It is used to set basic characteristics of web page. It contains all the necessary contents of a HTML document such as a text, hyperlinks, images, tables, etc. Whatever you see in a good web page today is contained in the body part. The content of web page is placed between body opening tag and body closing tag. Right. Now we have a very small homework for all of you. Write a HTML document with title and the body. So title will be your school name and the body will be 10 lines about your school. Save it as .html and send it to me on the email, on my email. Additionally, write it in on your fair notebook. Whenever the school resumes, I will check it. That is all for this lecture. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.